Tyson, I got up at 4:40 a.m. I watched your walk-in. You looked unbelievably confident. I watched Wilder with his stupid mask, and I thought, you're going to have that ripped off you in a minute. I then watched the fight where you boxed magnificently. You completely outboxed him. You won the fight very comfortably. As a Rocky movie fan, I went to see the latest one last week, Creed 2. This was a Rocky movie happening in front of my very eyes. And my first question to you, Tyson, other than congratulations and thank you for doing the nation proud, how did you get up off the canvas in that moment?
To that question, Piers, I have no idea. It must have been a divine intervention, because I did see the replay this morning and I looked to be unconscious on the canvas, and I just woke up and jumped back up, and I was perfectly healthy, my legs were strong and everything was right, and I got back into him.
But it says something about you, I think, more than as a boxer, but as a man. You came out afterwards with a really powerful little clip, and I'm not going to replay it, I just want to talk to you about it now, in which you talked about this journey you've been on for the last 3 years. You became world champion, the world went nuts, your life collapsed. You end up, and you tell this extraordinary story of how you're in your Ferrari, you're driving to a speed of 190 miles an hour, and you think in that moment, you're so depressed, you've had these suicidal thoughts, that you are going to end your life. You're going to deliberately crash your Ferrari. And you didn't. You turned because you thought of your kids and your family and your wife and so on, and you managed to stop yourself killing yourself. And now here you are, back at the absolute top of your game, top of your profession, everyone going nuts for you again. Just tell me about this journey that you've been on.
I think it's been a fascinating journey, to say the least. It's no secret where I've been and the troubles I've been through and the lows and the highs. But most of all, this comeback, although it's been to get to the top of the heavyweight division again, it's been to inspire and give the hope to people who are suffering with mental health problems as well, like I was for so long, but had no one to turn to. I didn't feel like I could come out and be open about it. I wanted to show that there's so much that could go on out there in life, and to give people inspiration to do, you know. I was one of those people who used to bottle everything up for so long until I exploded. And just over a year ago, I didn't think I'd ever be boxing again. I didn't have the passion to live anymore. And a year later, I just conquered the world and beat the WBC World Heavyweight Champion in his own country, at his own game. If that doesn't give people hope and determination and inspiration, then I don't know what will. But if I can do that, Piers, then so can everybody else. And the main reason I got up from that round 12 is to show, if I can get up and continue after that, then so can you.
In the end, what was it that enabled you to come through it? How did you beat the demons that were destroying your life?
It was very hard, Piers, but I had a good team around me. I had professional help, I had a loving family, and I had people, good friends, that I could turn to. Before, I used to just bottle it all up, like I said just 2 seconds ago, but when I realised that it was all right to come out and speak to people about it, and I really knew that speaking to people really did help me. And that would be my advice to people: seek medical advice straight away and speak to close people around you about it, because it's not something that you should bottle up and hide away forever, because it will get the better of you. No matter how big or tough you are. I was world heavyweight champion, unbeaten, 6'9" and 18 stone, and he got the better of me. But with the right help, you can turn life around. And I'm a living testament that it can be achieved if you want it enough, and if you sacrifice and put the dedication in. Anything can be achieved, anything is possible.
I think when someone as big and as strong and powerful as you, Tyson, speaks out about mental health, it has huge effects for so many people. It's such a powerful message. One of the other things that you've mentioned in the past couple of days is your weight. And it's something that you and I have sparred over as well, of course.
She's lost 2 stone, Tyson. On the Tyson, after your little pep talk, Susanna's wasting away.
You suggested that I eliminated...
She's looking well. She's looking well.
Thank you so much, Tyson. Well, you told me to take away the milk from my coffee, and now it's black coffee only, so thanks very much indeed for that tip. We can all learn from Tyson.
Fantastic.
But you said that you'd ballooned 10 stone overweight. I mean, that's an extraordinary amount to then shift.
It is. I was just under 28 stones at my highest. And this morning I weighed in at 17 stone 12. Amazing. So it's a hell of a lot of weight to lose. It wasn't easy. It took over 12 months to do. But with a routine, scheduled diet and training program, it can be achieved.
Tyson, let me ask you, nobody thinks that you lost that fight or that it was a draw, right? Everyone knows you won that fight. One of the judges gave it 115 to 111, which is probably the greatest travesty since the same thing happened to Lennox Lewis fighting in America. What do you feel about what that kind of judging does to the integrity of boxing? Because it was such a sham.
I feel like this type of behaviour puts people off boxing. Boxing's a gentleman's sport. It's a battle of two sportsmen at the highest level, giving it their all for glory. And when stuff like this happens, you know, I've been away from my family for 10 weeks in a training camp, sacrificed everything. I've worked so hard over the last 14, 15 months to get here. And, you know, to have everything taken away from me over some judge who didn't know what he was looking at, it is a travesty and it is damaging to boxing. Because the fans can see what's going on. Every respected sports writer and champion boxer from the past, and everybody knows about boxing, everybody said I won that fight. That judge gave me a losing 115, 111. I don't know what fight he was watching. I really don't.
I had you 9 rounds up until the 9th when he finally did something. You'd won the first 8 rounds, to my view, quite comfortably. I'm not an expert, but I know what I'm watching in a ring. And it was just seemed to me you were completely out.
And that judge had me losing. Yeah, that judge had me losing the first 6 rounds. So
ridiculous.
I'm not sure what he was watching or where he's got his refereeing skills from, his judging skills rather. But I'm not too sure. But it is devastating, and I do think something needs to be done to prevent this from happening in the future.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's damaging. I've worked so hard for something and not to be rewarded with it over some guys. Bad judging.
Can you describe that moment at the end of the fight when you believe that you've won, but then you hear what the judges think about the fight?
To be honest, my dad said, you go in an away country, you find a home favourite, you're not going to get any favours done here, son. But I wasn't looking for favours. All I was asking for is fair treatment, which, to be honest, I can't say that any of the team or the referee or anybody did anything skullduggery. I got fair treatment, but when you know you've worked hard and climbed off the canvas and everything twice and battled back, I thought I definitely won. The only 2 rounds I lost were round 9 and round 12.
Right.
So even if they're 10-8 rounds, I still won 8-4. The feeling was catastrophic. When they said a draw, I could not believe what I was hearing. And I tried to calm my brothers down and calm the team down, calm everybody down, because the last thing I wanted was a massive brawl going in the crowd or a massive riot, which could have happened if I wouldn't have calmed the situation down, which would have given boxing a bad reputation and my country a bad reputation, because, you know, travelling British fans don't have the best reputation anyway. So we didn't want to make it any worse with a riot at a boxing zone. So I tried to calm all the problems down and get out of there and not cause too much scene about it. But I'm absolutely devastated. I can't put into words how hard I've worked for this. And, you know, we all know I've won. Everybody who watched the fight knows I've won. But history will look back at this and say it was a draw, because nobody remember the controversy after a while. They've denied me of the greatest comeback in boxing history, which...
History, though, Tyson...
I'm not going to be bitter about.
Right, but
I am disappointed.
OK, but look, history may have a different story to tell if you get back in the ring with Mr Wilder, possibly, say, at Wembley Stadium in front of 100,000 people, and knock him spark out in front of your own crowd. Is that the next fight for you, the rematch?
That would be fantastic, Piers, but I've got a funny feeling he's going to get his running shoes out and stay away from me at all costs.
What was interesting was he was throwing haymaker after haymaker, but I don't think more than 2 of them ever got near your head. Completely.
There, I think we can see.
Yeah, we can see the ones that did connect. But it's very interesting to watch a ferocious puncher like Wilder. He just could not land really more than a handful of punches throughout the entire fight, which was a testament, I think, to your extraordinary speed and mobility and technical skill in that fight. I mean, when you think the weight that you were a year ago and the weight you were fighting at, the speed that you were moving was extraordinary for a heavyweight fighter.
I've worked really hard, I've done my best, and I should have been rewarded with the decision. We should be taking the WBC home back to Great Britain, but unfortunately it stays in America. We both stay unbeaten, and we've got to roll the dice again. But like we said before, I don't want to cause a stigma and cause a massive scene about it. It was what it was. We can't undo decisions, but I just want to make sure that this doesn't happen again, because not everybody might be as mentally strong as me, and it could cause people to walk away from the sport. You never know what the future holds for people, but I won't like this to happen again. It's happened to me, it's happened to Lennox, it's happened to so many great fighters in the past, and it continues to happen throughout history. I've had 2.5 years out the ring and only 2 comeback fights. That's me 3rd fight in 5 years. So I'm only getting better and better and better. I can beat them all, but they need to fight me. We need to give Britain the biggest fight in British boxing history, and that's me and Joshua. Let's make it happen. The country wants it, I want it, everybody wants it. The only people who don't seem to want it is their team. Let's get it on, let's give the fans what they want, and let's have a real battle.
The other people who've had a journey and a battle, Tyson, in the last few years have been your family. I would imagine it was pretty emotional for you with your family after this fight, given the kind of redemption and glory that, notwithstanding the ridiculous result, the fact that you managed to basically get yourself right back where you'd been 3 years ago before the hell descended. What was it like for you and your family afterwards?
It was a very special moment, I had my brothers ringside. We were all in tears. We just couldn't believe what had happened, really, with the decision. And Paris was there, everyone was in tears, my sister-in-laws and my family and close friends, and I've come a long way. I don't know if people saw me, how bad it really got, but from where I was just over a year ago to where I am now, it's a win in itself. Without boxing, without sports, just to get back in this right mental and physical state, that's a victory on its own. And I'm so happy with the way I feel. And before the Klitschko fight, I was suffering bad with mental health problems, and after the Klitschko fight, it went out of control. But now, I feel fantastic. Everything's going to go well, and I know what I've got to do, and I know how to do it. So just need to get on with it. I hope that everybody enjoyed the fight as much as I did, and I hope I did my family, friends and country proud. And I can't really do any more than my best.